One mistake that we're all in great danger of making is the belief that there's a direct connection between art and money, because in fact there very obviously isn't. Let me give an example. The four boys who play instruments. Okay, the Beatles in Liverpool, no money at all. Four boys in America who play instruments, same year. The Monkees. Okay, the Monkees were created artificially by a TV studio, and they were just copied on the Beatles. The TV studio was completely honest about it. What happened to the Monkees? After the TV show ended, their record sales dropped to nothing. While the TV show was on, the Monkees albums were #1 in the charts. The first album after the TV show ended didn't even make the charts. It was entirely artificial. But they had money. The Beatles had no money. They just sang. And of course, the Beatles' records are still million sellers today. In fact, as of today, the Beatles has 2 records in the top 10 album charts, remastered copies of their old singles. So art and money are not connected. You can spend as much money as you like, and it does not guarantee success of art. So setting that aside, then it's really a matter of creating spaces where artistic things can happen. And of course you need money for that, but what you don't need is nice shopping centres and malls and fancy restaurants, which I do see in some of these plans, because in fact, artistic types don't really go for these sort of designer label restaurants and things. In fact, you'll be more likely to find real art coming out of some sort of warehouse district, some sort of grubby place like, Wong Chuk Hang, for example. That's where true creativity will happen, not some glittery shopping mall. One of the huge problems that Hong Kong has is the guard mentality. You just step anywhere and the guards will come and stop you. I spend a significant portion of my time running away from guards because I'm not quite normal in their eyes, and because I believe that we the people own Hong Kong. You property developers, you do not own Hong Kong. We the people own Hong Kong. Okay, Hong Kong is a schizophrenic place. It's half east, it's half west. It's part of it's a very young city, but it's also part of the oldest continuous civilization in the world. It's the capital of capitalism, and at the same time, it's part of the last great communist empire. It's vital that it's successful because people in Hong Kong, people in Asia generally, are not thought of as funny, creative people. I remember once we did a survey on who are the least funny people in the world, and the responses were communists, Muslims, and Asians in general. And I thought, oh man, I was brought up in a Muslim family, my father was a communist, and I'm definitely an Asian in general, living in Asia. So I thought, this is why my life is so hard, because I make jokes for a living. I either write columns or give live performances, and I'm always getting into trouble. I've been sacked so many times because this is not a funny place. But in fact, you know it like I do, that deep down Asians are funny. We are funny. We like a good laugh as much as anybody. And so to have a successful, thriving entertainment district, that's big news. It'll show the world that, hey, we can be funny, we can be entertaining, we have soul. People think we don't have soul, but we do. I think the general belief is that Asians are good at math, but we're not funny. We don't have any soul. We don't have any creativity, and this will be proof that we have an artistic heart. We can make you laugh. We can make you cry. Hong Kong is the least creative place in the universe at the moment. I despair. Look, what's the central part of Hong Kong called? Central. What's the building in the middle of Central called? Central Building. You know, there's a building in Hong Kong called Skyscraper. There's a building in Hong Kong called Commercial Building. You know, what does this mean? It means that we're so uncreative that we can't even think of names for things. We just give them labels. So, for example, there's, you know, I live next to a hospital. The main block is called Main Block. And the new clinical wing is called New Clinical Wing. Occasionally, we get brave. We think, let us use an adjective, which is why there's a building on Nathan Road. It's called Newish Building. And there's another one called Adjoining Building. Now, this is the level of creativity in Hong Kong. And you can see why we desperately need, rescuing. You know, I used to, my favorite restaurant in Hong Kong, I used to go to lunch every day at this place called the Quite Good Chinese Restaurant. And you pick out the menu, and the top item was the signature dish, which was quite good noodles. And then I fell in love with this place on Stanley Street. It was a vegetarian restaurant, and of course it was called Vegetarian Restaurant. You know? And you go in, and all the waitresses had name tags here, and every name tag said waitress. So the name tags differentiated the girls from like the fish, you know, and the furniture. You know, so basically our creativity level has been very low, and yet, you know, at heart we are a creative city. We're just creative in different ways. We need to be creative in a more artistic way, which is why any sort of cultural renaissance is desperately needed.